Hi there! Welcome back to the exciting Breyer collection unboxing series. To refresh my newer viewers, I purchased a collection of like 100 plus boxes of Breyer models from the estate of a Breyer collector, and I am now unboxing them one by one each week, a new video for you, my loyal viewers, to see what is in this collection that I purchased. This week we are on box number 69, and we have some Breyer Bison to keep. The Breyer Bison is also known as the Breyer Buffalo in layman's terms, and was first issued in 1965, sculpted by Chris Hess. Pretty popular model. So we have here what I know as a Breyer collector to be a re-release or a later release of the Breyer Buffalo. He was originally released in this brown color in 1965 and was issued for a very long time, as they did back then. So 65 up through the 70s, maybe into the 80s, in just brown. Brown matte, brown semi-gloss. As a collector, I can see that this guy has a different paint than that original release. And so he is much newer, and he has bi eyes. So I think I've talked about it before, but as a kind of an experiment, sometime, and I can't remember, in the 1990s, Breyer did this experiment where they would paint the eye black, and then they would paint a little U of brown in there as a little extra detail. The collectors weren't really hot on it. It took a lot of extra time and effort for the painters to paint this little detail on every single eye, so it was a very short experiment, like 6 months to a year. So this guy would date from that era, from that whatever it was in the mid-90s, 6 months to a year. I think he was a regular run. In this color, he was probably produced for several years. 4 or 5 was kind of the standard back then. But with that little detail, it would have been a much shorter run. So he's a really cool guy with that little extra detail. Next, ooh, we have a nice one. This is Tonka. I don't know how to pronounce it. Could be Tanaka, Tonka. The White Buffalo. There was a very, very rare special run in white gray in the 60s. So if you ever see these guys in white, double check to make sure it's not that original run, because he's super rare. But this is from late 80s, early 90s. It was a very short run, 6 months to a year, in this white color. He was Tanaka, the White Buffalo, and he had this brown handprint on him. And I don't remember much about the run, but I remember everybody freaked out because it was such a short run. The typical time that they would run a model back then was 4, 5, 6, up to 10 years in a single color. So him coming and going so quickly and being in such a different color from the usual run Buffaloes, he was very super popular. I was lucky enough to find one, I think, in a toy store for regular retail many years after he'd been discontinued. Super rare, super popular. So a super nice buffalo for our second buffalo from this box. And he's in very nice shape. He has good shading on his front, little details in the muzzle and the eyes and his horns. And being probably a collector of variations, it looks like our collector purchased 2 of them, because this looks like another Tonka, the White Buffalo. But that's odd. So Breyer does this interesting thing where they'll occasionally forget or add a detail. So this guy doesn't have his handprint. He is not that 1960s special run. That guy has a completely different paint quality and color. As a collector, you would just instantly see the difference. These 2 are very similar with that matte white with just a light shading of gray. But this guy, interestingly, doesn't have that detail. There's ones, I think the Show Jumping Warm Blood, there's one that doesn't have the brand. So they'll do this occasionally where it may be an accident, maybe a special run, most likely usually just accidental. One run of models will miss a detail. Maybe it'll be a little detail like a brand, or maybe it'll be a spot for an Appaloosa or Pinto. But this guy is missing his handprint. So super rare already without the handprint. Super uber rare. He is in very nice condition. Nice shading, a very cool addition to this buffalo herd. And collectors, we love our variations, right? Next we have, I think this is a regular run from the mid-90s, kind of the era that he came from. This is a roan, kind of a brown roan. Really nice color with kind of that really, really striking with the dark head and the light body. Good condition. I don't think they ever had names. I think they were just always called buffalo, and they would have a different name on them. Really nice. No details. I was looking to see if he has eyes, but he doesn't. The other thing about this model is he's super heavy in the front. This is a ton of plastic. So like the poodle, he's heavy, but he's very unbalanced. So when you pick him up, like even from the, if you want to pick him up from the bottom, which many collectors do, he tends to tip forward. So I like to carry him kind of by the front because he's super heavy in the front, super light in the back. He tips over more easily than you might think because of that unbalance. Nice color. I think he was produced for a couple of years. Nice piece. And there's another buffalo. So then our final buffalo of this box. Boy, I thought I had a super awesome guy with that last one, but I'm going to need some research. This is what appears to me to be a gold buffalo. I use the term super rare fairly loosely because this guy is even more rare. Regarding the few test run buffaloes and other animals in the gold bronze finish, see note number 2 for the Spanish Fighting Bull mold, Cattle and Hogs. This is Nancy Young's book, Brahman Bull. Yeah. Didn't know what I said I was looking for. I don't even know where to start with this. I thought she said it was the Brahman Bull. So Nancy Young's book is awesome. Every collector needs to have it. Tons of information. Oh, Spanish Fighting Bull. So this is a super uber duper rare color test run. I don't even know where to start. See note number 2 for the Spanish Fighting Bull. I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. I can't spell. Cattle and Hogs. In the Cattle and Hogs section. Spanish Fighting Bull. LMNOP. Okay, note number 2. There was a Spanish Fighting Bull with a metallic gold bronze finish whose origins we know nothing about. Except for the eyes, which are black, the whole bull is colored. It has an antique look. It has a USA stamp, which dates the bull to no earlier than 1970. This one has no USA stamp, but that USA stamp was kind of put on different molds at different times. A couple of other Breyer animals with a similar finish have come to my attention. Wow, this is in Nancy Young's book. This guy. This is awesome. Okay, a couple of other, a bronze-colored buffalo, which showed up at Breyer Fest 1995. I heard about it, but did not see it. So you remember, of course, because you watch all of my videos, right? I think it was the Texas Longhorn, like a month or two ago. I found that test run Longhorn. This collector must have gone to Breyer Fest in 1995, and I think I found a bunch of Breyer Fest 1995 stuff. Shopped at the Holiday Inn, as it was known back then, purchased a test run from the auction that night, and purchased this bull. The pieces come together very neatly, shall we say. I heard about it, but did not see it. Owned by Karen Grimm, is a elephant. I have an elephant too. Did we find an elephant? I don't think we found an elephant. I have an elephant though. None of these models are listed in any Breyer company publication known to me, but conceivably they are from a group of factory original test models that I learned about from Breyer executive Peter Stone at BreyerFest 1995. He and Breyer sculptor Chris Hess obtained a quantity of bronze paint called something like bronze glow, which had to be rubbed into the piece by hand rather than painted on. He and Hess experimented with various models. He couldn't remember which ones, but thought they could have been buffaloes and bulls and others, possibly some quarter horse yearlings. Since the quarter horse yearling mold debuted in 1970, the experiments must have been conducted in the 1970s or possibly early 1980s. No production runs of bronze animals were made according to Stone, and he does not know what became of the test pieces. So, as I think I just said a couple of times, I have an elephant. I've seen a couple of elephants. I think I've seen a ram, maybe not in person, but maybe online. I don't think I've seen a buffalo. But this is definitely very vintage gold paint. It doesn't look like it was applied by hand, but I'm not sure. He has no painted details. His eyes are actually gold. So this is a very interesting piece. He's starting to tarnish. He's not in good condition. He's definitely rubbed up a bit. And as I said, he didn't have the 1970. So, barring further research, this is quite possibly one of the rarest Breyer models around. It's amazing what you can find in these boxes, eh? So, I hope that you enjoyed that uber, super, duper rare box of buffaloes. You never know what you're going to find in these boxes. Did I already say that? I think so. I'm just going to ramble for a while, so I'm just going to say thank you very much for joining me. I don't think we'll beat this one next week, but join me and see what we find. Thank you.